Hey everyone, hope everyone's doing well. As you may have seen in the video, or maybe through the title, probably through the title as well as the video, but I decided to do a little bit of bench pressing today after all my other stuff. This is the first time I bench pressed in a couple months. I honestly don't remember the last time I bench pressed. People who've watched a lot of my videos may be able to remember that time, but I don't know if I bench pressed once during the summer. If I did, it was like, no, I think I did bench press once, but I don't think I went heavy on bench press for a long time. I don't know. I do it very infrequently now because it's not very beneficial for weightlifting, especially because it kind of puts the front delt, I should point on the correct side that it does it. On my right delt on the front, it kind of makes it achy if I do a lot of benching. Plus my shoulders and stuff, I mean, like my whole body gets plenty of work from all the weightlifting stuff. So there isn't really much translation for me with that because I'm not really weak in my chest. It's mostly my shoulders, and you do that work by overhead stuff most directly. But I decided to do that today, and I just wanted to see where I could push my pause bench at, and it was feeling fine. So I went from 2 reps at 225 to up to 275 to 295, and then I tried 315, and as you guys will see, I was able to get that rep, but I think my butt came off a little bit. Obviously I don't really care too much about it. I was able to do the rep, and it wasn't really as grindy as I thought it was potentially going to be. It was definitely pretty close to maximal. I mean, I think I could have done 5 to 10 pounds more, but it would have been like a max at that point. I also did it in my flip-flops at the end of a workout, so I think if I would have my weightlifting shoes on, that would be a little bit more stable than my squishy flip-flops, as well as in the middle of like a workout that's geared towards bench pressing. I definitely think 5 to 10 more pounds is there. Which is kind of cool to see that my bench press hasn't really dipped down too much, because my best is still 330, which I did, I honestly don't remember, a while ago, either earlier this year or late last year. I did it after a weightlifting cycle of training. I went back and tried my bench press, and it went up a little bit because my shoulders are a weak point. So if my shoulders get stronger, usually my bench press gets a little bit better. And through weightlifting, my triceps get work, and my chest, when you do push presses and stuff, it's not as if your chest is passively sitting there. It's not directly worked, but for me, my chest has never really been too lagging on the bench press. Plus it always gets a crazy pump whenever I do bench press, which is kind of nice from a bodybuilding standpoint, so I don't have to worry about doing other stuff to develop my chest. My chest has always been, for a while, since I started putting on weight, my chest became pretty well developed relative to the rest of my frame. So it wasn't like I didn't have any chest at all, which is nice because I don't really have to do much for it now. I'm guessing whatever I do as probably weightlifting gives it enough work. But that was a unique part of my workout that I added in today, because tomorrow is a light day / off day before we start, or I start the next week of training. The workout today started with some snatch grip presses, and they were up to like 125, which was relatively it was a good weight for working a set of 5. It wasn't maximal, but it wasn't like super easy where it was like pushing an empty bar. So, it was what it was. I did muscle snatches, no hook muscle snatches to get the weight up. So I got a little snatch work with that. Then I had clean and jerks, which my whole body, I could tell, is just fried from this week of training. But I had to go up to 265 for a set of 3, and they weren't power cleans, they were just regular cleans. And I was not trying to be a hero and pull it super high or anything, just high enough to where I could do it correctly. I definitely think I could have been more aggressive with the pull, but at this point of the week, that might have been all that my body had to have to pull. But I was able to do the 3 reps at that weight successfully. Didn't have any misses going up. It was weirdly 165, 205, 235, 265. I've never had a set of 165 scheduled in to the program so far, so that was unique. And I had to do 5 reps at that weight, which is terribly fun from a cardio standpoint. Really, all the reps are just terribly fun cardio wise. But I was able to do those. Then I had snatch pulls. I was messing around with my stance a little bit to have my toes pointed out a little bit more. I think I'll kind of incorporate that into my snatch instead of trying to really shove my knees out too aggressively, just to kind of start my knees out like more than what they are. Usually my toes are kind of forward, kind of not, and just play around with that stance to just see how it feels when I'm doing snatches. Because with cleans, I've never really had an issue with how my stance is and my grip width, and I've adjusted them a little bit over time, but it hasn't been anything that's been too detrimental to my cleans, just because my pull is so maximal that it's very hard for me to mess anything up unless I go early, and that has nothing to do with really where I start. It's more of where I finish at the top. And so from the ground to basically to the point where you have to wait to extend, I do a pretty good job with cleans. The snatches, I'm still learning that and trying to get better at it, and I have gotten a lot better at it from the past. I just have to continue to hone those things in as much as I can and just make everything be as crisp as I can make it, and make my snatches look like my clean and jerks look, and particularly make my snatches look how my cleans look, because they're similar pulling motion. But pulls went fine. They're up to 215, nothing radical there. Then I had squats up to 375 for 2 sets of 3 after doing the workup sets from 285 and 325. And man, I'm just gassed. I mean, like, there's no other way to put it. Like, I did the sets, they look fine, they moved all right, but I mean, I'm just the volume is just absolutely destroying me. So I'll be very curious to see what they have me do next week. If it's a week that's similar to this one, I don't imagine I'll do very well, but I'll stick to whatever program they give. I'd have to imagine that they're going to adjust some things or have a lighter week, or I don't know. I won't be able to see that till Monday, because when you get to the end of a lifting week, you can only see the whole week, and you can't see the Monday workout until that Monday, even online. But once I get the Monday, then I can see that whole week on my computer. I do think that's kind of annoying. I think once you get to Sunday, you should be able to see the next day's workout at the very least, but they're always adjusting things, and they're trying to figure out that program or the app part and make that better. And I'm sure that'll be a feature they add in at some point, but it's not something I get now. Besides the gym, so I'll move on to life stuff now, because it's a good old Saturday. I did some trimming of the bushes, not those bushes, the bushes that are outside of the front of my house. So it should be easier if Justin gets deliveries for them to find where our house is, because the bushes were quite tall from before, and they grow like weeds. It's very annoying. So I trimmed those down this morning, and I was going to go to the store. I'll probably just wait to do that tomorrow. I don't really need anything too much there. And I was going to mow today, but it's raining, so I can't really do that. Not really too worried about it, because it's kind of cooling down and cooling off. I called the air conditioning people today, and they said they're going to call today, and they didn't, which is wonderful service, and I'm glad that I called them. Because they said I called them first thing when they opened, and the secretary lady I talked to said they would call in a couple hours. One of the technicians would call soon. They didn't give a specific time. Soon. They're not open tomorrow, so they're obviously not going to call tomorrow. They closed at noon today, obviously they're not going to call today. I find it's and the lady like repeated my phone number to me, my email to me. So I'm kind of annoyed with that. They had a lot of good reviews, so I don't know if it just got lost in the shuffle or if they just have a lot of appointments or whatever it is. Would have been nice to get a confirmation of some sort today to say like, hey, we can't see you till Monday. Because I mean, it's like 65 degrees out, so it's not a huge deal on a day like this. But I would like to get that fixed. And I also had my refrigerator was leaking water at the bottom. I don't know if it's because my ice maker in the fridge doesn't work anymore, or it's not working, I should say. And I had it on because it just makes it so I can put ice in the tray still, or in the bucket that's underneath where it would make ice. And if the part, I mean, it's like a piece of metal, and if it's up, it's off. If it's down and closed, it's on. So I had it just on, just so it was out of the way. But I think it might have been messing up that was my first theory, and the fridge is still cold, the doors are still like closed, and I'm not really sure why, but it had not a crazy amount of water, but it definitely was like a noticeable amount, more so than like, oh, I dripped some water. It was like something was dripping underneath there. So maybe I'll see more of that when I get home today. I'll have to move the fridge around to see that a little bit. I hope not. I hope it was just something I undid and redid one of the feeds into the ice maker. So I don't know if that was doing something to it, or and the other one looked like it was perfectly fine attached. So hopefully that's not an issue. I do have 2 fridges in my kitchen, so if one does break, I do have another one. Because Justin and I have 2 fridges, and once when our old roommate was living there, it was nice to have that. Just the sheer amount of food that we would store in there, we kind of needed them. For a while, it was a very tight fit in the one fridge, but once we got 2 in there, my dad had an old one, so it wasn't an extra cost upon me. He was actually getting rid of it anyway, so it kind of worked out in that sense. But that's really about it that I have going on today as far as life. I know I made another podcast today about the Browns and school and workouts. Just the second 2 topics were just general things, but the Browns was a pretty unique topic. I clipped that because I recorded a video of it, and I posted that. What will be, actually, I don't know how many days ahead that video will be, but I know I posted that one on the Saturday when I'm recording this. So hopefully you might enjoy a little bit about me talking about other things other than lifting a little bit. I know I did that with the Serena Williams and Naomi Osaka match a little while ago. And then with the Browns, I mean, I was really excited. I know the other day when they won, I had a little clip of me really excited that they won, just shocked that they did. But that was me in that video talking a little bit more in depth about that sort of stuff. So if you're interested in me talking about my good old Brownies, then you can go ahead and check out that video. It's about the only team I really pay attention to as far as NFL, because I'm a Cleveland fan for everything. I do know about other teams a little bit, but not enough to really care to make a video or anything about that. But anywho, I'm gonna go home, enjoy the rest of my day, try to get this video edited for today, and then I'll be ahead of uploads, and I'll just get everything uploaded and everything. And that should really be about it for my day. There isn't really too much going on that's exciting. I may try to do, oh yeah, the last thing I do want to mention, I knew there was something else for school. Something I don't think I mentioned in any other video or in the podcast, because it's something I just forgot about until now. But on Friday, after the professional development day, maybe I did mention it, I don't know. But I'll mention it again, just in case I didn't. We got our own intervention specialist, got our own laptops. The gen ed teachers had gotten them, and I think like all the gen ed teachers gotten them, and we were the next in line to get laptops, and they're nicer than the students' ones. I think they're Chromebooks still, but they're a nicer version of them because they're like for the teachers. So that's really nice to have, and we can take that home, do whatever with it. Obviously, not whatever with it, but anything school related, we can take it home and use it and whatnot. And for me, that's going to be really nice, just in case there is ever days where I want to do schoolwork at home, and I'll have the ability to have everything that's just kind of loaded on there. And I don't know if it will load all the stuff that's on the desktop onto that as well, but I know like with Google, Chrome, and all the apps, the docs and drive and things like that, I'll have access to everything if I wanted to do work at my house, and it'll just make it easier, and it makes it separate than my personal computer, which I really like. So I'll be curious to see see how it works. I haven't turned it on yet or used it, but I'll for sure probably use it at school, because I know we still have a desktop in the classroom, but obviously that's not mobile. And for intervention specialists, I think For IEP meetings, that's one thing I think they'll eventually go to, is instead of having us print like 7 copies of the IEP, which is like over 100 pages if there's enough people at the meetings, to have everyone just have computers and look at it on the computer, sign the couple of papers that need to be signed, but just look through it on the computer. Because one, it's better for the, it's cheaper because you're not using paper and wasting paper, because once you have all the drafts, you have to shred those. But then when you make changes, you can just do that right then and there. And then signatures, I mean, those could be the couple pages, and that would only be 3 or 4 pages that would need to be printed out versus the 100 pages, and when 90% of them are thrown away anyway. So I'm looking forward to that. I know things are moving in a good direction for our technology and school stuff, and I don't know, I'm gonna go home, enjoy the rest of my day, have some more coffee maybe, because I absolutely love coffee, especially on rainy days like this when it's kind of cold. So I'm gonna go enjoy that. Hope you're all having a wonderful day, and I'll talk to you all in the next one. Peace.